What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome into the Bulls Report as we got some big-time rumors circulating around the Denver Nuggets possibly going all in and trading for Zach LaVine before the NBA trade deadline. So coming up on today's show, what would that trade package look like? Could the Bulls potentially get Michael Porter Jr. in this deal? I'm going to be hitting this on all angles, so make sure you guys stay tuned throughout this whole thing. And also make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because once this trade goes down, I'll have a video for you guys ASAP, and it's looking likely that the Denver Nuggets are seriously trying to land Zach LaVine on top of some other players as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Help us reach 11,000 subs. Right down there, free, easy way to help us out here at Chat Sports, so hit that subscribe button. Now, first off, I want to apologize. No graphics on today's show. It's just going to be me talking to you. Pretty hectic day here at the Chat Sports studios, but I still want to talk about this because this is the biggest, kind of rumor we've gotten around the Chicago Bulls as of late. So, obviously this stemmed from just Zach LaVine being on the trade market for the last, I want to say year and a half almost. At least the last year and a half. But, clearly the Denver Nuggets, they're trying to make a move to try to get some more talent around Nikola Vucevic because they're trying to take advantage. And, this news broke was that the Denver Nuggets are reportedly eyeing some offensive help ahead of the February 6th trade deadline. Tony Jones and Sam Amick of The Athletic reported Tuesday that Denver has discussed potential moves for Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls, Jordan Poole and Jonas Valanciunas of the Wizards, Clarkson of the Jazz, DeAndre Hunter of the Hawks, and Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. But here's what he noted. He said the focus on LaVine is recent discussions is significant, and since the Nuggets are particularly looking for a player who can offer significant help offensively, and that is Zach LaVine. Now, I have my gripes on him. I don't think he's the most winning basketball player whatsoever, but there's no doubt that Zach LaVine is still an elite three-level scorer. Like, if you just need a guy you can throw the basketball to, put the ball in his hands, and he can create offense for himself, but also others on that team, Zach LaVine excels at that. Like, even though he is not the best leader, he is not the best defensive player in the league, there is no denying that Zach LaVine is still one of the better, I want to say, just offensive talents that this game has seen over the last couple of years. He's athletic. He can catch and shoot threes at a high level. He has a good pull-up mid-range. He can really do it all. And listen, I like the fit at first, just thinking about it. Zach LaVine next to Jokic. We obviously have seen what Nikola Jokic has done for a guy like Jamal Murray up in his game over the last couple of years. And the only real negative from the Nuggets side is what I'm thinking is, how are they going to guard in the playoffs? Like, how are the Denver Nuggets going to guard teams like the Thunder, the Mavericks, when you're rolling out a backcourt of Jamal Murray and Zach LaVine? I don't necessarily know if the fit is the best defensively, but offensively, that would be a powerhouse. Like, if you have to deal with Jokic, Murray creating shots for others, Zach LaVine creating shots for himself and others, like, that would be a very, very good offense. Plus, you just add the wrinkle of guys like Aaron Gordon and such. But the biggest kicker with this whole thing is, how are they going to match this salary? Because, when trading Zach LaVine, somebody's going to have to match that $43 million. And with the Nuggets, in the tax right now, they're going to have to match that completely. Well, the Nuggets have a guy in Michael Porter Jr. who is having a great year, but they could be open to dealing him to getting more offensive talent on this team. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And, we'll talk about it in the second half of, what the Bulls could look like if this trade goes down where it's Michael Porter Jr. on this team instead of Zach LaVine. But I'll just ask you guys this. Would you trade Zach LaVine for Michael Porter Jr.? Is this enough for you guys in terms of, a return on a Zach LaVine deal? Let me know your guys' thoughts. Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down below in the comments section. Now, coming up here in a second, again, we'll talk about what this could mean for Michael Porter Jr. joining the Bulls. But first off, I got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now, if you guys download the app today and use code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today, use code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you create your first $5 lineup. Now, what is PrizePicks? Well, PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award and winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You heard that correctly. So run your game all season long on PrizePicks. It is no doubt America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. If you guys are trying to just increase your viewing experience for a Bulls, Blackhawks, Bears game, Prize Picks is the #1 way to do so. So download the app today, plug in promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today, use code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, let's talk about it. Now, if it is Michael Porter Jr. going to the Bulls, I have a lot of thoughts on this because you're necessarily just trading a bad contract for a bad contract. But on the pro of the Bulls is that Michael Porter Jr. is 3 years younger than Zach LaVine, so it fits the timeline a little more. And, my biggest gripe with this Bulls team is that they haven't had a true guy who can come in and knock down shots. They have a bunch of guys who like to take threes because clearly the Bulls this year, they upped their pace, they upped the amount of threes they're taking, but they don't really have any lockdown shooters, and that would be MPJ. And, MPJ is one of those guys who was, one of the top recruits coming out of high school, dealt with back injuries at Mizzou, went to the Nuggets. They developed him at a very, very high level, and he is a fantastic basketball player. I think he's the best spot-up player in the league on a points-per-possession basis and also on a points-per-catch-and-shoot basis. He is one of the better ones in the league. And I would like to see, Josh Giddey getting up the floor, Kobe White getting up the floor, and you have a quick kick-out guy like MPJ out there. I don't necessarily hate it, and if you're trying to track the star, having a guy like Michael Porter Jr. will do that because he can guard. He's got good size. He's a great, possession finisher is what I'll call him because when the ball ends up in his hands, he can let it fly. He shoots the ball at a very, very high level. But, again, does this really move the needle for the Bulls? No, not at all. I honestly just think this keeps the Bulls at the same spot. And if you would go get Michael Porter Jr., I'm not too confident you would end up getting your first-round pick because I still think with Michael Porter Jr. on the team, they can still scrap together around 35, 40 wins and potentially be the 9 seed in the Eastern Conference for a third straight season. There's just enough talent on this team where that would be the case. So, obviously, I've been wanting to trade LaVine for a while. I just don't know if Michael Porter Jr. is necessarily that guy. Again, a tremendous basketball player. He can really get it done at a high level, but I just don't know if where the Bulls are at right now, if this makes too much sense. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about this, so please hop down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Would you trade LaVine for Michael Porter Jr.? Get down there, get loud, and again, like I said, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because once we get a single update on this, I will have a video for you guys ASAP. So hit that subscribe button, lock us in, because this trade could be coming any second with the trade deadline. What about 7 weeks away from this point? So hit that sub button, and we'll see you guys later. As always, go Bulls.